whole time.
Please keep it going for your next comic. Coming to the stage, give him a very warm welcome. Make some noise for Alan Piket.
Hell yeah. Following cake. Yeah, it's good. I'm not going to be as fun as that. I don't know how. I'm coming here from New Jersey tonight.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're excited about it. Are you from there?
No.
Well, that's why. How could you do not have an informed opinion, I'm telling you. And I know that by you being excited about it. No, I'm from New Jersey. I'm not happy about it either, trust me. No, I'm from North Jersey, a little area called 20 minutes from the tunnel. Yeah, it's good. It's right nearby 15 minutes from the tunnel. About 5 minutes. I'm skipping a jump. I came from South Jersey. I just moved up there recently. I lived in an area before called right across the bridge from Philly. And I don't know, what does that say about our state? We don't even tell you the names of our towns. We skip right to directions on how to escape. You see? You shouldn't be surprised. You don't need to know where I'm from. Trust me, it's for your own good. Because if you're ever in my hometown, I guarantee you're not going to be asking, where am I? You're going to be asking, how do I get the f*** out of here? I'm cutting out the middleman. Trust me. No, that's our state. We don't like it either. Yeah, it's New Jersey though. Why the f*** am I here, state? That's it. Yeah. No, that. You don't have to do that, but okay. You just laugh. I'll settle for that. Let's go snaps. Let's do it. You're not even at the right show. Okay. No, it's good. I don't. I'm just glad to be here and not there. Seriously, that's our state. There's people walking around all day. How far am I from a bridge right now? Where is the nearest bridge? It can be any bridge. If it leads to another state, I will cross it. And if it doesn't, I will jump the either will do. Just need out. All right. I followed cake, but it's good. All right. Yeah. I know. There's a rift. There's a rivalry between New York and New Jersey, right? Because people from New York are always acting like people from New Jersey are trash, and people from New Jersey are always acting like trash. So I got. It's all up tonight. Why the? Well, you gotta have a reason. You know, nobody just goes to. It's not like New York. You know, yeah, I'm going to New York. Nice. I'm going to New Jersey. Why? Nah, I love New Jersey. You guys are seriously. It sucks. Anyway, people always ask me if I'm Jewish, and I am, but it's a rude question. All right. No, because asking someone if they're Jewish, it's really just like asking a woman if she's pregnant. Follow me here. Because there's nothing wrong with being Jewish or with being pregnant, but there's also no flattering reason for someone to think you're either one. Why? For the exact reasons you laughed when I... No, it's not, and at least when someone asks a woman if she's pregnant, it's always in a really friendly, admiring tone, right? Huh? Are you pregnant? Like she's a hero for raw dogging. Like, calm down. I'm no hero. Alright? I'm no hero. Nobody's ever come up to me asked if I'm Jewish sounding impressed or intrigued. I'm sure. You ever had a woman come up to me like, hey, are you Jewish? No. They never asked like that. They asked like they're trying to solve a murder. Are you Jewish? It's not. Where were you on the 5th night of Hanukkah? That wasn't toward you. You were just there. Right? Do you like New Jersey? How do you feel about it? I'm not going to ask about Jews. I don't want to know. I don't think it. Nah, that's... yeah. I'm a Jew. You got me, all right? And I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for you meddling with sugarness, but I digress. It's a funny word, thank you. Yeah, I know. I'm not ashamed, but it is insulting because Jews have no positive stereotypes, right? Even the most flattering one, always followed by an insult. Hey, you know, those Jews, they all have a lot of money, and they're always so stingy with it. Just looking at it like, you know what you did. No, but that's not fair, right, sir? Yeah, you're never going to hear, hey, you know, every black guy has a huge and they all use them to control the media. Like, you know. I don't know how I feel about you clapping. I think I should be flattered. Normally, okay.
Okay, we're recording.
This thing does not want to. This is a great opener, huh?
I thought we were getting a 5-second countdown.
Yeah, I did too. Oh, there we go. All right.
This feels like Eric Andre already.
Yeah.
This is a prank show.
Yeah.
This is a 50-minute prank show.
Yeah, it's terrible. Normally we don't reveal that it's not being recorded until the end. But,
Oh, man. I figured it out that quick, man.
Yeah.
Special like that.
hey there, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful episode of Performer Than Performing, recorded at LCAT and One Broadway Collaborative in Lawrence, Massachusetts. We're two of your hosts. I'm Max Shultz.
I'm Freddie Scibelli.
And we're joined with another wonderful comedian who is also headlining here Saturday night at 8 p.m., Mr. Alan Piket.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for being here. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you again.
You too, man. So I know you just moved to Massachusetts from Jersey, right?
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
It's
Recently.
not relevant to
You did do that.
yeah, I did.
2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, it happened.
About 2 weeks, yeah.
Welcome to the area.
Thank you so much. September 30th. There you go.
Whatever that was.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Really.
18 days ago. So.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
You got it.
Welcome to the area. How are you liking comedy here versus there? The little bit you've done it so far.
Well, actually, I've been spending so much time getting moved in.
That makes sense.
The only thing I got to do here since moving was actually your mic.
Okay.
I've done a decent amount in my time, visiting up here.
That's true. Yeah,
to see
you've done a few of my shows. Yeah.
And you've given me, some good opportunities. And I mean, so far from what I've experienced, I really enjoy, the people I've met. I feel very comfortable.
Good.
Everybody's been really cool, and the audiences have been good. I find the comics are really supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And I've been having fun, and back where I'm from, so I'm originally from South Jersey, and South Jersey itself, there's nothing going on comedy-wise.
Oh, really?
Barely. There's very little. Then I went to North Jersey. So really it's all in Philly down there.
Right, yeah.
In
I think you were
North
telling me
Jersey,
that.
there's a lot of stuff across the tunnel or bridge, wherever, in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also more going on in North Jersey itself compared to South Jersey. But yeah, Philly, I find, no shade against Philly, but they can be kind of cliquish sometimes. And there are a lot of good people out there. But, it's funny because people talk about, I feel like people assume that New York comics think they're such, hot stuff.
Yeah.
They're actually some of the most chill, humble people.
Yeah.
Because honestly, a lot of them are professionals, so they act professional. And they're just chill with it, and they're not about the drama. But but yeah, I felt more that vibe up here,
Cool.
where everybody's I've really been happy with my experience so far.
Good.
Dope.
And that's been our show. You're one of those guys who I'm usually, especially when I first started booking shows, I was weary to do people who were out of state or out of southern New Hampshire, northern Massachusetts. And you're the first time you sent me a tape, or the only time I think, because every time after that I just knew you were good. But when you sent me that tape, I was you were I'm visiting family and I'd love to do it. I was well, if he's already gonna be here, cool. But you're always just so fun to watch perform. I love your anecdotes and your storytelling, and it's so fun. How did you, I guess, become the version of this comedian you are now? Because myself, I know when I started, I was always kind of a storyteller comedian, But like I would never could have told the jokes I tell now when I started.
Right.
I didn't have the wherewithal.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't tell a lot of like stories now, and I think any stories I tell right now are totally made up.
Really?
I feel like, I think it's just I haven't had a very interesting life, honestly.
Okay.
No, but I guess, by comparison, over time, I guess I've just let the more of the influences, I've had,
Sure.
the comedians I really like watching, and I've just watched more and more of them and kind of found, what speaks to me. One thing that's really been a big progression, I'd say, is, especially in more recent times, I've done a lot more really trying to like get comedy out of like who I really am.
Okay, good.
And like how I really feel. And honestly, that itself has changed a lot. Like
Yeah.
when I was first doing comedy, I was this like dorky, like 18-year-old kid with glasses.
Sure.
And not nearly as good teeth as I have now. Had some work done. But it was a lot of it was like about me being a loser and not getting it's total incel stuff. I'm not proud of it. But over time, I mean, look at me now. I'm, so I kind of had to get to like, comfortable with it not just being all about, hey, I'm such a loser. Because really, like, if we're being honest, like, when you're that loser and people see that, it's like, okay, that's funny. But then if people are like, well, actually, he's kind of handsome. What the fuck's he? What the heck's he talking about?
Yeah.
Then it's like, then it doesn't quite connect as much. So I had to kind of, then I actually realized there was, kind of something funny to be had in maybe just not relying on just going with what the audience might expect from me, but going the other way.
Sure.
So just, a lot of things like that. And I just kind of think about like what really speaks to me, what I'm passionate about, and that's what I talk about.
Awesome.
There's something oddly satisfying to me anyway about having like a made-up story work on a joke, like more so because I feel like if it's something real and it's funny and it's like relatable, like laugh. But like if I like, and I have like make up a story like all together and like people start laughing at it, I don't know why I get so pumped up. I'm like, gotcha.
Well, it's hard to make up a good stand-up story.
It is.
I mean, I don't know what's harder. I mean, if you have a good, I'm like, how do people take real stories and actually how do people have real stories that are that good for stand-up?
And I can't do what you're doing. Like I've been doing this for almost a decade, and I don't know, 3% of it was made up.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you just tell like real stuff. You would tell like more real stuff.
Absolutely.
Well, excuse me. Part of it is I've kind of had a really fortunate life in reality.
That's good. Good for you.
I have a very stable family life. Like I do a lot of bits about my family. It's all made up.
I love, not to interrupt you, but like,
no, go ahead.
I don't remember what the joke is, and it may be because you do this in more than one joke, because there's kind of a toss line.
Right.
But you do this thing, because I've seen you perform in front of at least one of your parents a couple times.
Both of them.
Both. I thought it was both of them, but then I didn't want to be wrong.
They're going to be at the next one, too.
I knew that, actually.
Yeah.
But I've seen you do that, and you had some joke about like your mother being terrible or something, and you're like, and she's right there still.
Multiple.
And it's just great. I love that. Like, I know that you don't think your mother's awful.
No.
And I think everybody in the audience knows that, but you're able to, for a moment, convince us of that. And it's wonderful.
The best parents make for the worst stand-up material. That's the thing. And I mean, honestly, all comedians have to have their trauma. I mean, if I hadn't been bullied in high school, I would have been sunk as a potential comedian.
Sure,
I wouldn't have had anything. But I think what you're referring to, like at the end of my set, especially when I have a longer set, I do this bit about like my mom, and it's kind of like a made up story with my mom, and it's kind of like sort of this like kind of genuine sounding kind of thing.
Yeah.
It kind of is. And then when they're here, I have this added part where basically I thank them for being here and allowing me to tell lies about them.
That's what it is. Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
And honestly, like when I did that at your show, and I'm planning on doing it. Spoiler alert if you're at the show. But at the like I do get a little choked up inside when I do that.
You can
because
tell that
it's
it's
so
sweet.
genuine.
Yeah.
I mean every bit of it. I love my parents so much.
Good.
And it means the world to me that they come to my stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why I got to make stuff up. You can't. That's not funny.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. You want. You don't want to be like, I love my mom and I've been Alan Piket.
You're like, screw you.
Yeah,
I wish
right.
I loved my mom. Like,
Yeah.
it's just-
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like people are just like, it's like, all right, brag about it some more.
Right. It's interesting. You mentioned like in the first question we asked you, but your influences have like really helped shape how you do this.
Yeah.
Who were some of your big influences?
So early on, Jim Gaffigan
Okay.
from the start was a big one. And I'd say, format-wise, I'd say he still is. I think, honestly, Jim Gaffigan being a big influence early on was really instrumental in me getting in good habits as far as laughs per minute.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Or just
That makes sense.
Yeah. Because, like, he's always been great with that. Punch. And, like, I fancy myself someone who really does my best to keep the punches frequent and consistent. I try not to have really long lulls, And then in more recent time, maybe in the past 10 years, I'd say John Mulaney a bit, but also very much Gary Goldman.
Oh, yeah.
I have very much, I think, modeled a lot of my style after him, not even consciously, but I watched a lot of his stuff, and, I relate to a lot of what he talks about, too.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of just his style, I think, when I watch my own stuff back, I think I see a lot of that, too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Gary Goldman and Mulaney and Gaffigan are all great responses to that question.
Yeah.
I have a question. Did you let your parents know ahead of time before the first time they saw you that you're going to be, or like the first time you did an act involve them? Or did you just like kind of surprise them?
Well, I've been doing comedy since I was 18, and I would say, I don't even remember, but probably because I used to try out all my stuff on them.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
they were the first people I'd pitch it to, so yeah, and like, but, they love it because it's so far removed from actual them.
Right.
It's so ludicrous that it's, and they are like the most unconditionally supportive people. They don't take any offense. But yeah, at this, definitely by now they know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
But yeah, long story short, I don't think there was ever a time where they were like, "Oh my God, what's he saying about us?" So
Right.
never
I'm
felt like that.
definitely jealous of that.
Yeah.
My mother has never seen me do stand-up and like vaguely knows I've mentioned her, and she's like, "You can't talk about me there." Oh, but I can, and I do.
Well, it's one of the most exciting things about being here. I moved up here because my family is here.
Right.
I recently went through a breakup. I was living with my partner, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to move. And I was like, well, if I'm going to move, I might as well live near my family.
Sure.
So now I'm like about a half hour from them.
That's
but
great.
like one big thing, it's like now they can come to my shows again. And it's
Yeah.
so cool because they always like to come to my shows. When I first started, they had to drive me to them. But now it's, and it's really cool, like, to be able to do that again.
That's awesome.
Every time I feel like the 10-year-old kid in the school play, his parents are it's still the same feeling.
Yeah, hopefully they don't have that feeling for you, because I feel like the parents who see their 10-year-old in a play, they're like, "This is so great! Please don't screw up! Please don't screw up! Please don't screw up! Please don't screw up!" And you're good. Like, I hope they don't feel like you're gonna screw up every.
No, they're not that toddlers and tiaras type.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I don't even mean like that. I meant more like, oh, I hope little Billy doesn't like fall down.
They're aware that I'm not 10 anymore.
I know. I was joking.
I know what jokes are, Max.
I barely do so.
Self-roasted.
Yeah. But no, it's so cool to hear you say that, like, because most comedians I know have like at least one of their like parental figures is like a huge problem in their life.
Yeah.
And it's refreshing.
Just comedians?
Well, I was just, group by group. But it's refreshing to hear a comedian specifically not have that and still be good at this.
Well, thank you. But yeah, it's been one of those things. Yeah, I've really had to just, and I could just not talk about them at all, but it's just, you gotta have and what's extra ironic about it is I'm Jewish.
Okay.
And like, So when you talk about like, I don't know if you know this about my people, but we're not exactly known for having the most easigoing mothers.
Right, okay, yes.
She's like a unicorn, this woman. Like sometimes I test her. Like I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm like, hey mom, I'm about to go outside. I hear it's pretty cold, but I don't think I need a jacket. She's like, yeah, have fun. I'm like, you're not even Jewish. I'm not Jewish.
You're not Jewish.
That never happened either. I made that up.
Of course, but I get what you're saying though. That's fun.
She's so the opposite of that, though. She just appreciates every gift. I could talk for hours about how much I love my mom, but I won't.
Different show.
It's good though.
Yeah, we have another show we're working on called the Pikets, and it's about your parents.
Excuse me. I also really like my job, so there's nothing there either that I can what do you talk about?
I'm working in my stand-up myself about like kind of a similar thing, like not making things up about my parents, but like taking a positive thing that I think most comedians would take the negative out of and make funny, and I'm trying to make the positive funny. Like I quit drinking 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, and I have a bit about like, basically the gist is like, it's okay to like mess up and then correct your path.
Right.
But like, I feel like most comedians would be like, and I still drink.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm trying to make it funny, or still do whatever the thing is. Not that there's anything wrong with drinking if you drink, but like, you know what I'm saying.
I do, and I'm kind of a bit different from a lot of comics in the sense that I feel like I'm a lot less jaded. I mean, even compared to a lot of humans. And that's one thing, especially like some places, like I really had to prioritize like, hey, I got to make sure when I go out and do comedy, like I'm rolling with people I'm comfortable with and people who are good influences.
Definitely.
Because, there's so much jadedness and like even just like everybody just loves to talk crap on each other.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm like,
It's a
I
big
don't really
thing.
want to, like, I really want to just be able to like be genuine and kind to people. And like with comedy, you gotta put like the, like jaded and cynical spins on things. But there's a certain extent where like, I don't, like, that's why it means so much to me at the end of, a set where my parents are there to like, there's still a joke to it, but getting to like just really let that out, that genuine love I have for them, and like, and I think, and the thing is, for all, the audience like eats up, all the cynical BS, like when I do that at the end, I think, after I've done all my jokes and everything, and it's still a joke, but I think it really actually speaks to people and it stands out because they're like, wow, we're seeing something real and meaningful here, and I think it speaks to that side of people that maybe could use something meaningful, out of all the silly BS. I've said this on, I didn't plan to, but I've said this on I think almost every episode Freddie and I have done of the show together, but like, I've kind of been rolling with the mantra for about a year now that I think if you're going to do comedy, or if I'm going to do comedy, I should say, this doesn't apply to everybody, but I want my set to not only be funny and relatable, but I want people to feel better about themselves at the end of it. Yeah.
And it sounds like you kind of feel the same way.
I do, and I hosted a show in Philly for about a year, and I've hosted a bunch of shows, and I've always been very much, I want people to feel good, the comics, the audience, and I always felt like that was a lot of where the success of the shows I ran came in.
Yeah.
People would come out just feeling good about it, and I was all about being supportive of the comics, building them up, and just letting everybody know we were happy they were there and we appreciated them being there, the comics and audience.
Yeah.
And it was just a warm environment. I mean, we told all the adult jokes and everything.
Of course.
It wasn't church, but but it's a good feeling, and I always like to have that. It means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Usually after I do a show, everyone in the audience is like, I can't help but feel better about myself.
By comparison.
After this, you know what?
Yeah. Well, one thing that's changed over time, and this is where my parents' influence, I think, comes in even more, even though, it's not a direct thing, but like, I have kind of like started delving a bit more into like what my real views are and like what's meaningful to me. And I'm trying to like find a balance where it doesn't sound like preachy or like, but some of the social stuff I pick up on, certain things I see, And it really is so largely shaped by how I was raised, you
Yeah.
know. And I, I do a lot of stuff now. I mean, decent amount, like more than I used to, where I talk about certain like social aspects that I like, just my opinions on, how like relationships are viewed, or women, or like male entitlement, like incel kind of, even just attitudes toward just people being different, and the idea like do we really need to worry about it so much, like where we're like worrying about what other people are doing in their own personal, all that. And it really does come from, this is how I was raised. And like I've been kind of I've been piecing it together gradually, but I've been even trying to find the funny in as well grounded as my childhood was, and growing up in terms of my family life. My family was so well adjusted, that itself is kind of different.
It is.
And there really is comedy there, so it's a challenge. But like, for example, I've kind of been working out like something about like how my parents were very direct with me about like, when I'd have questions and everything, because people are like afraid of stuff like, oh, what do I tell my kid when they ask why a man is wearing a dress? And I'm like, I don't know, answer the question.
Literally.
My parents were like, I remember when I was like, I don't know, 6 or something, like I asked my mom, I was like, hey mom, where do babies come from?
Okay.
And I know this is a clean show, but she said it's when, babies come from a man and a woman having sex. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I was like, what's sex? And she said, it's when a man puts his in a woman's.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can, it doesn't matter. You get the idea.
Yeah.
And, and I know that might sound weird, but she was right, by the way.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
But like stuff like that, like, that's like good parenting. That's
I
really
think so too.
healthy.
I really do.
But it's also, it's not necessarily the norm. It's not what everybody just does.
Yeah. I mean,
a lot of people are afraid to tell their kids these things.
I'm sure there are still people out there right now who are 6 who are being told the stork brought them.
Right.
Which is ludicrous to me, but I'm sure that those conversations are happening.
Right.
Not to try to tell you how to parent your 1-year-old.
That's the
That's
story
the
that brought
stork,
Vinny.
yeah. That's the stork that brought your son.
But so it may be good, but it's different. So I'm finding the humor in that.
Yeah, I think there's definitely humor in that.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for like being a child and like understanding real concepts, like adult concepts.
That's something I think about a lot, because like everybody's so caught up in like, oh, think about the children. Oh my God, what if they see this? What if they see that?
They'll be
like,
fine.
I saw so many things when I mean, it's like endless things, and I'm fine. I got a 401k and stuff, and a car and my own place. I'm good. There's nothing out of everything I saw that may have been adult, or I never felt scarred. And my parents were they talked to me like an adult. If I had questions, they had answers,
Yeah.
So, I mean,
good.
and honestly, I was talking about, I don't mean to get like really too controversial, but I was talking about like the drag thing.
Yeah.
So like I actually was at a drag brunch with my girlfriend at the time, I don't know, several months ago.
Okay.
And there were people, all kinds of older people, younger people, women, gay men, straight men. Well, straight man, I was really the only one. But there was this one family, and they actually brought like a couple like little kids.
Yeah.
And these 2 girls, these little girls, and they couldn't have been more than like maybe 2 or 3 maybe. And like, I remember my girlfriend even, who brought me there, was like, I don't know if they should have such little kids here. I mean, it might be kind of really loud and overwhelming. And I was like, yeah, that is a fair point, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
And then, you know what, they actually, the show was going, and they were crying because the music was so loud and all that. But eventually, so one of the drag queens went over to the kids and was like, hey, it's okay, come on, dance. And they started dancing. They're just like having a good, and they stopped crying, and they're smiling. And next thing you know, they're handing the drag queen dollar bills and all that, and they're hugging the drag queen. Now think about that for a second. These 2 little kids hugging a drag queen and handing her dollar bills. It was the most wholesome thing I've ever seen in my life. It was, but that's the thing, it's there. I feel like so many people would think about that, be like, what the hell? Why are? But it was beautiful. It was, kids just interacting with someone who is different on the surface, but just having that positive human interaction. And I literally thought, through all the dollar bills being thrown, those kids are being raised right.
Yeah.
And even that same drag queen, her mom was there. It was the cutest
Oh,
thing.
that's
Her
cool.
mom was there with her friends, and they were dancing and having a great time. And it actually reminded me of my parents in the sense that she was clearly proud of her daughter, but I don't know the gender actually, but
Child.
she was proud, yes, of her baby, because
They're
they're
happy.
doing what they loved.
Yeah.
And that's all my parents ever wanted
Yeah.
for me. And when my parents come to my shows, that's what they're proud
That's
of.
what they want.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm decent at what I do too, so there's that.
You
It
are,
doesn't
you
hurt.
are.
But yeah, man,
that's
it's
great.
just stuff like that. Like, I think about a lot of these things, and these are things I'm over time trying to work into my comedy, and
Yeah.
that's been one big evolution.
Yeah,
That comes from my upbringing.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't have children of my own, at least not yet, you know.
Yeah.
But like my friends have children, and like I try to be positive on them. But like, I used to live with one of my best friends and his daughter, and during that time, my brother came out as trans. Mm-hmm. But the little girl, my roommate's daughter, knew my brother as a woman. Mm-hmm. And then one day came into the kitchen and was like, "Hey, when's your sister coming over?" And I was like, "Oh, well, my sister's now my brother and named Toby." And like I was with her grandmother at the time, and I thought that she would have like all these questions and be like a typical like 6 or 7 year old or however old she was at the time. And she just went, "Oh, okay. When is your brother coming over?"
Nice.
It was awesome.
It's like, if anything, she was annoyed. It's like, it's the same question.
It's the
Like,
same person.
it's
I
like,
just want to see them.
does it change the answer?
Yeah.
Like, to what time?
It was awesome.
Well, you know,
She was sassy and like, I don't
love
care. It's just, when can I hang out with them?
I love that, because no, she's right. I mean, it's like, all right.
It was great.
Does that, you know, it reminds me a little. I remember I have a cousin who's gay, and he was when he was about to get married. He got engaged to his boyfriend, and apparently my grandma, who was like, I don't know, like around 90 at the
wow.
time. Yeah, she actually just passed
sorry to hear
last
that.
year. But, well, she lived a good life. It was a good run, 95, man.
Wow.
But she just got to the point where Trump wasn't her last president. She just made it like
wow.
few days, or I think it was the day after inauguration. Well,
Wow.
that's another story. So,
Yeah.
but the thing is, like, apparently she said about the situation, them getting engaged. She said, because they lived together, of course.
Okay.
So she said, the cousin and his boyfriend.
Yeah, yeah.
So apparently she said, "Oh, good, now they won't be living in sin anymore."
That's
Living
awesome.
in sin is when you live with a partner and you're not married. So in case you're, I don't know if all people under 30 would know that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was just adorable.
That is. That's great. That's
yeah.
great. I love, one of my favorite things is like elderly people who are very progressive but like confused.
Yeah.
Like that, for example, like I love that. Like just so wholesome but so just like absurd the just confusion. I love it.
I mean, she knew what she was saying.
I know she did, but like you know that there are examples. Where, they're like, I'm so happy, but like this, but they're not living in sin anymore, and it's like, but they mean it. They're not making a joke or a goof, you know.
But yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, she was making a joke, but it was like, of course that was it's like, yeah, I don't care that they're gay. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, just if you're living together, make an honest man out of them. But
Yeah.
But that's like but kind of like it reminded me, because you were talking about,
my old roommate, my friend's daughter.
Yeah, her grandma, like just being like, okay, I don't care about the trans thing, but answer my freaking question.
Yeah,
kinda
I want to
like
see your brother now. Like when.
Yeah, I mean, my mom was talking about, like, I think it's also like I think some people don't realize they don't have to totally understand.
Yeah,
or
I get that too.
I mean, like my mom even was saying how like, she doesn't. Like some people are like, oh, why does everybody have to have the pronouns or what their pronouns are and all that? And my mom said, yeah, personally, like, I didn't really understand why, even people who are just, cis, have their pronouns on, signatures or,
Yeah.
email stuff and stuff like that. And she told me that my sister explained to her that it's really about inclusion and
Yeah.
it's, we're all in it together. And she said, and that really made sense. She's like, and I don't like really do it myself, but I totally get why other people do it.
Yeah.
And you see, because my mom realizes she's not one of those people, oh, so if I don't put that on my email signature, am I going to be, tarred and feathered?
Exclusive, yeah.
It's like, no, it's like you can or not. And she realizes that. And
yeah,
that's
it doesn't
Like,
really make a difference. It's,
right.
it's just a thing.
So that's how I was
Yeah.
brought up.
How long ago did your parents move from South Jersey to New England?
Oh, that's a good question.
2015. So it's
Okay.
8.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it was for a job that they worked together at this place, and they got promoted to a higher position at another office in Danvers, and it didn't even work out. But they found
But
something
they just
else.
liked it. They kind of liked the area.
Yeah, and they ended up finding work at a different company, a nonprofit called Operation Able. And they both work there now.
wow.
They actually went through the program. It's like a training program, a little plug, for middle-aged to older adults who have been out of the workforce for a while or just want to try like a new.
Okay.
And I actually started volunteering with them. I run actually like a workshop for them
cool.
about like work, like career advancement strategies.
Sure.
And it's really a very fulfilling thing. And definitely, I mean, all the time I've spent with stand-up has really prepared
Yeah.
me to do that kind of speaking. It's a Zoom thing.
Oh, really?
It's a little easier, but yeah, man, it's a good experience.
That's cool.
But yeah, that's where they're at right now. But they're doing good.
Good.
Yeah, yeah.
When they moved out of Jersey and you didn't yet, did that dramatically impact your stand-up?
No.
Okay.
It just, I had 2 less people I could count on to always be at my shows.
Well.
But other than, I mean, the stand-up, the comedy itself, not really. No.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah. No. I mean, it was quite a change
I'm
in
sure.
my life. But
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I did. Yeah. I mean, I like event. It was actually a pretty long time before I wrote anything about like their move or anything.
Oh,
It was like
really?
within the past couple of years, just more like just stuff about like how, like when they moved, like they said it was for a job. I kind of figured they just weren't feeling it with me anymore.
They broke up with you?
No,
Yeah.
I said to them,
a break.
hey, look, I love you both very much, and I wish you nothing but the best. But if you ever start talking like those people, I'll kill you both. And that didn't happen,
Yeah.
Well, no, again, but but I mean, I can't let that happen to someone I love, Well, imagine if you called your mom on the phone, and does your mom talk like that?
Like me?
Like, hey, like.
No, my
like
mother.
Boston.
My mother is somebody who will claim that she has a Boston accent.
But
in reality,
why would you claim that?
Well, let me finish. She claims that, and maybe at one point it was true. Currently, in my entire life, she has like the strangest accent that I have never heard another human have.
I have to hear this.
I don't know when you would ever meet my mother, but my mother has the strangest voice and speaking pattern.
That's funny.
So no, my mother doesn't speak like that, but I get what you're saying.
Like, what if you called your mom and you're like, "Hey, mom, how's your day going?" And all of a sudden, she was just like, "Oh, not bad so far." I'd lose my stuff, man. I'd be like, "Get out of here, Peter Griffin. Put my mom on the phone."
Yeah, my mom's got a very peculiar speaking pattern.
And then I got up here and they really talk like that. I'm like, "Oh my God, what is?"
Oh, they do.
Yeah,
They
it's
do.
weird. Yeah. They do. But, unfortunately, not as many people as I thought would.
Yeah, there's pockets.
Which is good.
There's pockets.
A lot of people talk like normal people. So,
Yes.
to be fair.
Yes.
It's funny. I used to think, like in Family Guy, why are Lois and Peter the only people in the show who actually sound like they're from New England? Right?
Yeah.
And eventually
I
it
get what you're
occurred to
saying.
me, because that would be so annoying if more than 2 people like regularly talked like that.
Yes.
In the show. Can you imagine a show just full of everybody's talking like that? That's why.
Yeah. Even
it's the butt of the joke
oh yeah.
on the show.
I was like, even Boston-based shows like Cheers don't all sound like they're from
I
here.
think that's by design.
I do too, but that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. No,
I do
agree.
too. Like you'll have the occasional stop in of somebody that sounds like that, but that's about it. You know?
Yeah, it's always the side characters.
Yeah, it is because it is. I agree with you. Like I think that people that the almost absurdly thick Boston accent. It's a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot, and like I get it. If you were raised like that, that's what you know. That's how you speak.
Yeah.
But I've also met people who like it's like a put on sometimes, and I don't really get that.
Wait, like they fake it?
A little bit. A little bit.
Like, and I know
you get
people
some
from Boston get a lot of flack for their accents, but that's
Yeah.
only because they should.
What were you gonna say,
I
Freddie?
usually you get a couple fakers here and there. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're not often, but I've met some. Yeah, I did go to high school with a guy who did not have a Boston accent, but he would speak. He would like talk in his sleep. I had friends who would like were dating or whatever would say this.
Right.
He would speak in his sleep, and in his sleep he had a very thick Boston accent, and no one knew why. It was the weirdest thing.
That would make a really good horror movie.
Yeah, wouldn't it?
I way to endear myself to my new area. This is
Yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Nothing but love.
But you know, it's funny. Like, it's funny how like people who don't live here think everybody has that accent, and really not that many people do. I think they did probably like 75 years ago.
Yeah.
I had it a lot thicker when I was younger, but
Did you?
I think after I went to college, I started to lose it a little bit.
Makes
For
sense.
sure. But I definitely did when I was younger.
Makes
For
sense.
I still it comes out when I'm drunk.
I was gonna say I've heard it a few times out of
Yeah.
you, but it's not a regular speech pattern of yours.
I've been told I have a Jersey accent, but I think I've only been told that by people who know I'm from Jersey, so I take it with a grain of salt.
That's interesting.
I don't know what I don't really know what I sound like, honestly. I don't, but
Never listened to a recording. I don't have any idea.
yeah, I can't. I don't even like my voice. That's all I know.
Do you
Okay.
do you listen to or like record a lot of stuff? I find like that's probably what I do the most to help with my comedy. Is even if I hate it and I like did terrible on the drive home if I'm driving the car, I plug it in, put on the radio, and I listen to it.
Yes, sometimes it's fun when you have like, especially if you have like a longer set that went decently, and you like play it in your car and you pretend you're
Yeah.
listening to your own album. That's
Oh, yeah.
not an album, but yeah, I do, and that's always the challenge. Like it's one thing to watch the ones back, where you did really great, but then getting yourself to watch the ones where you didn't. But I mean, I always try to also remember it's like, even if it didn't go so amazing overall, like a given set, and a lot of it is mics anyway, it's like, what are you really
Yeah.
expecting? But it's like, there usually is stuff they laughed at, and the whole point is to see, okay, what was the stuff they laughed at? And especially when you are in front of a tough crowd, and they're tight or whatever, it's like, there's a lot of value in that, because you're finding, okay, they did laugh at this thing, and if that tough crowd that maybe as a whole you aren't eager to watch your set, like was laughing at something, there's a lot of value in finding the things they laughed at.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's that's been a big thing that I've had to get make sure I do, and stay on top of.
Yeah.
But I really try to record as much as possible, because that's a big part of the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do
I
you
do too.
Write more before you go on, or do you like to have like a premise and then go on and figure it out as you're talking? Like when you're at a mic or working out a joke and
So yeah, I hate trying to just get myself to sit down and write. Like the majority of my writing just comes when I feel like I think of something, and then like a lot of the time I'll just like, all right, I have an idea, I'm inspired. I will come up with like 3, 4, 5 minutes of something just like that, and I'll flesh it out later. Or sometimes I get myself into it but it's like while I'm just walking out and about or doing something, but like I'll start reciting a bit that I may be working on or something out loud, and then as I'm reciting it, I'll start like working on it. But I never like being like, okay, it's time to write, But what I actually gave this as a piece of feedback to one of the people on the mic on Monday.
Okay.
Who he really wasn't very prepared with his jokes, but I noticed he was like, yeah, so premise. and then like he like forgot what he was gonna say after that.
Okay.
And like one person actually said, well, keep your notes out more, don't keep going back and forth, which is a good piece of feedback. But what I've really been finding is when it comes to like the preparation and then you're going out and you're working out the joke, especially like at mics and stuff, the best thing to do is like focus on the punches and getting down the parts that are supposed to make people laugh, the meat of the joke. And then the segues and the setups and all that, I'm very ambitious to try to get them very on point and polished and, but when I'm first working something out, it's about just getting to the punches and delivering those as sharply as possible. And then as I tell the joke more and it finds its footing, the segues and the setup kind of comes.
Yeah.
But I find as the best thing you can do is just focus on because the punches are where the laughs are supposed to come. And when you're testing out the joke, if of all things, if the punch is the least sharp, then you're not going to get, a proper response to it. So that's what I find. And sometimes, how you'll be at a mic or something, or you have extra time or something, and you're like tempted to just try a joke that like isn't that well worked out, but you're like, all right, let me just try it out.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Yeah, and like I used to be kind of like, I guess more afraid to do that, but like even like with that, like I just find, hey, if I have a punch, if I have something that I really think is funny and can make people laugh, like even if the outside leading up to it is rough, like just get out that joke itself and then, the rest can follow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if I'm going into telling a joke even for the first time with intent, if it's not like on a whim or whatever, I do like try my best to have an idea, okay, this is the plan, this is word for word the joke. But even with that being the case, the point is like, I don't worry so much like, okay, I have to have every word down. So I'll have like, okay, this is what I want it to be, but I don't like have this crazy expectation that I have to have it down every exact word that I had down,
Definitely.
So,
Definitely. I love writing a new joke and playing around with it on stage and seeing where it's gonna land or not, I guess.
Well, when you get the first laugh at a new joke, it's like the closest rush you ever get to the first time you ever got a laugh on stage.
Oh, definitely.
Because I still remember that feeling.
Oh yeah, I do too.
And like, and when people regularly laugh and you're just what you're doing, like it becomes pretty normalized after a while, and you just get harsher and harsher on yourself. Well, yeah, they should be laughing. I've been doing this so long. But when you tell a joke for the first time and they laugh, that's like the closest you get, and there's like no feeling like that. It's like, all right, I did something here, And then after that, it's like, well, yeah, it's a funny joke, so if you're laughing, very good.
Yeah.
Immediately gets old.
Immediately.
I'm making it sound very, very sad and cynical, but it's
very technical.
It's just, there's really something special about that. But I've been trying to not let myself get lost in the normalization, of, oh yeah, people are supposed to be laughing at this point. Like I've been doing it so long, like, if they're not laughing, what the heck am I doing? And even the idea, a lot of the jokes I do, especially if I'm doing a longer set, a more, professional set or whatever, I've been telling some of these jokes a pretty long time, but it's just like letting yourself live in the moment and just realize like, hey, I put a lot of work into this and I still am. And this is the reward for that.
Yeah.
And just enjoying that and enjoying that vibe. And I found that, as I've been really even still continuing to improve and work on things, I found like connection with the audience early on has been so huge. And so especially when you can develop that connection, you don't even have to worry as much about the word for word, when you're working out jokes and whatever, it's so much easier because you just got them. And it's so much easier to like stay out of a hole than dig yourself out. So I find that's a big thing too, especially if you do want to work on some new jokes. It's like, get them and they'll be with you for it,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I like, if I'm working out new jokes, like I'm doing a mic, I have 5 minutes or whatever, I try to, often what I'll do, I guess, is something I know works. New, solid closer or something.
Right. Yeah,
get them on your side early is what I like to do.
Definitely. Well, and I guess it depends. Like, if you're in front of like kind of a relatively real crowd at a mic, and so then like I think sometimes you think a little more like, all right, I want to do a little more established stuff. I really want it to be like a good set. But then if you're something like a little more casual or whatever, like I don't necessarily worry as much about like how like I'll just do more new stuff or whatever. It just kind of depends on the environment. I used to be very discouraged about trying new stuff or like even writing new stuff because I would see so many comedians who like just, I would see them doing new stuff. And also like, I don't know, I assumed they were always telling everything I heard for the first time.
Of course.
But like, it was like everything hit. Like they would go up, all the new jokes they would do hit. But I had to keep in mind, everybody likes that person. And nobody can stand me. So it's, I wasn't as popular back in
Sure.
I was a stupid, immature 20-something, But like, but these people had, kind of, and they were very good. They had very good material and they were, very regular with it. But I don't know, I always felt like it was more of a struggle when I would try new stuff and and I was just, and I think I even like put it on a pedestal and magnified how well they were doing in my head, comparing it to myself. And I felt like, well, why, they're getting all these laughs of all the new stuff or whatever, like, and it just felt like, I felt so discouraged because I'm like, why can't I get like all these laughs and new stuff? And it almost felt like if a new bit didn't totally hit, like I wasn't able to just let myself be like, all right, good, this part hit, this part hit, this part hit, work it out. It was like I had these crazy expectations for myself, and I think part of it was like just not taking into account really the whole picture of what I was seeing, and also just magnifying it in my head because I'm such a perfectionist and I'm so hard on myself. But over time, as I kind of started to not compare myself to people as much and like just let myself work the stuff out and whatever my pace is what it is, that like made all the difference.
Oh, it does.
In the process.
Once you're comfortable in your own skin, it's a lot smoother.
Definitely.
All right, we don't have a ton of time left.
Okay.
But a couple things I want to ask. One, I bring in this prop, a different prop, a like old McDonald's toy every week that I'm on it at least.
Okay.
This week we have a pterodactyl whose mouth does this. And he is yours as a souvenir.
Oh, very nice.
If you can answer the question.
Oh.
Very simple. Do you have a child's like McDonald's toy that stood out to you when you were a kid? McDonald's.
What
Is there like a McDonald's or like a stupid throwaway toy from when you were a kid that really stood out to you?
Well, you know what? I had this microphone that was like purple or something, purple and green or something, and it was like something where like somehow it magnified your voice just within the device, like an echo kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
And I would just talk into it
And
like,
terrorize the neighborhood.
Yeah, I was like, but fortunately there were no actual speakers or anything. It
No, it was just this little box in it or something.
Yeah, that and the Flintstones and Batman Forever.
Oh, cool!
glass
Yeah.
mugs. Oh,
those
The
were
Batman
classic.
glasses, nothing's better than those.
I saw something that it was the same type of glass, but just like a kind of leafy design or something at my friend's house like a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, oh, this doesn't have Batman on it. I was so disappointed. I was like, I thought this was a relic from yesteryear. But it
Yeah.
wasn't.
I remember the VHS for the first Batman that came out was an ad for like what number to call to get the Warner Brothers shop to order Batman.
Oh, really?
Batman gear, yeah.
Oh.
So like there was no.
I
Obviously
remember
no
Diet
internet.
Coke. I remember that.
Yeah, Diet Coke, right?
The long since forgotten Diet Coca-Cola.
Just for I watched that movie so many times when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, classic.
I called it the Scary Joker movie, and I called the one with Adam West the Funny Joker movie. My mom loves to tell that story. But that's just how I live.
I used to get kind of scared on the scene in the when the shark is on his leg on the helicopter.
Really?
I don't know why that used to freak me out, but
I love how you were talking about a scene from the Adam West one. Scared
Yeah.
You know what always scared me in the one with Michael Keaton, where the newscaster like all of a sudden like starts and then you see her, she's like dead.
Yeah.
With the smile. That freaked me. I couldn't even watch that.
Oh, really?
Or
For a long
the
time.
dinner scene too, when like the gas goes off and he's
Oh,
got
yeah,
the
yeah.
grappling gun and he shoots it. Like I always thought that was cool, but I always like when all the people like their faces like they go down
Oh,
the
yeah,
pie.
that
That
was-
was kind of
Yeah.
freaky too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Probably too young to be watching that movie.
Yeah, well, you know.
I mean, hey, I told
good
you,
though.
my parents were very progressive. They just let
Right.
me watch it, and
Yeah,
I turned
I can
out
watch
fine.
anything I
so.
wanted to. That's
Well,
cool.
with our last little bit, is there anything you anybody can find you on social media or anything like that? Any plugs?
Yes, so my Instagram is at Alan P Comedy, ALANP Comedy. It used to be Alan Piket Comedy. I changed it because my last name is not spelled like anybody would expect.
Right.
So it's Alan P Comedy. My TikTok is the same, Alan P Comedy. And I'm on Facebook. I have a YouTube. I don't use it quite as much, but I have some videos on there under Alan Piket. And I'm going to be headlining in Lawrence, Massachusetts this Saturday.
Yeah, in 3 days.
Yeah,
So
man.
shows at 8 o'clock
Yeah.
in the room near ours, like right around the corner, and we hope to see everybody who views this there.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. Thank
really
you.
was.
So that's mine now. I guess.
That is yours. Yeah,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah.
cool,
You get
cool,
this
cool.
guy.
Thank
You
you.
can do
Alan, I have
whatever
a
you want.
question before
What's
I
up?
forget.
What's up?
Have you ever seen the movie Problem Child?
No, but Gilbert Gottfried wasn't that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen it though.
So still no one.
All right.
I
Alan knew
one
the
of them- we were-
most.
I forget how this came up on an old show. It was like my favorite movie growing up, and everybody was like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah,
I saw a very slight
in one
piece
and
of
two.
it on TV once, and that's how I know Gilbert Gottfried, because I saw Gilbert Gottfried being Gilbert Gottfried.
John
just
Ritter.
right.
Sure.
Yeah, but I never actually saw.
That's funny. I was seeing if you were gonna ask the
It
that
eludes
question.
me again.
Man.
Yeah.
I'll watch it.
I
so in
waited till the
future-
final hour. But
I'll watch it so in the future the answer will be different.
Yeah.
I'll have
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
who actually watched it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure I'll see you again.
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
You can ask me
Classic.
in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Problem Child 2, also, just saying, underrated. I know
there's
that
another plug
usually
for you.
part 2s don't
Watch
get the
Problem
love they
Child
deserve.
Well, thank you so much for being here,
Thank you.
and we'll be in the next room on Saturday.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you for all the
All right.
opportunities and everything you're doing
Oh,
for my
yeah,
career.
man.
Appreciate
Yeah.
it, man.
You know?
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week with
Yeah.
a different performer on performing.
So that joke's dedicated to the memory of Kanye West's career. Rest in peace. Oh, yeah. Kanye. I don't know if you guys could survive this, but not a fan. But can you blame me? I mean, really, all this guy ever does is use his immense power, wealth, and influence to just keep other people down and push his own toxic, selfish, evil agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, what a you? Am I right? That's a good one. Thank you. You guys drinking? Of course you are. Of course you are. I'm not. I'm actually, I'm happy for it. I'm straight edge. Just in case you thought I wasn't cool. Yeah, I'm straight edge. That's right. Yeah, no alcohol, no weed, no drugs, no friends. I'm strict about it. Yeah. But I wasn't always straight edge. You know, I used to actually drink a lot, but I only drank because I thought it would help me meet women. But then I finally realized, what kind of women am I trying to impress just by the fact that I drink? Trying to impress high school girls? I'm not. Just for the record, they're recording here. I don't. Nah, I'm not trying to impress high school girls. I'm 33 years old. That ship sailed months ago. I am. I'm surprised you liked it that much, but it tickles me. Oh yeah, high school girls. Yeah. I know. I'm being very patronizing with that. No, I kid. I like you. So, it's. I am 33. Actually, I'm 33 and 11 months, which means I might as well be dead. So it's like, well, you don't have to be offended. You're 20, right? I got a birthday coming up. I'm going to be 34. You know what they say when you turn 34? No one gives a exactly. The old saying. But no matter how old I get, I'll never really totally understand why it's so cool to drink. But I think a lot of it comes from music, right? Because all the music we listen to is about reckless behavior, bad decisions, right? All the lyrics, we got no class, no taste, no shirt, face. That's cool, right? That's so badass you wouldn't even know it was coming from Nickelback, right? Well, you did. Guarantee it. But it was. Or how, you ever listen to Jay-Z? Middle finger to the law, gripping my balls. That's what he did. He gripped them. I don't know. I'll make the rules. But it's cool. It's cool. It's about breaking the law. You know. By the way, that one's reasonable. F the police. Or how many times you walk into a club, everybody's dancing around, shot. Everybody, that's 6 shots in 3 seconds. It's a lot. It's dangerous, but it's cool. That's fair. You know. Nobody wants to rock out to stability. Right? You're never gonna walk into a club, everybody's jamming out, school. Get a real job, it's not gonna happen, you know? Who wants to hear that shit? I got money in the bank. I'm investing it wisely. Got a great deal on my house because houses are pricey. I'm financing my car and it's building my credit. I pay it early every month, auto draft from my debit. Somebody give me a big shot right now, okay? That's wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you.